Football, you bet. That's from the Beachcomber show back in the 80s. Like that. I had to put on my Gaylord football shirt. See, this shirt, when I played football, it was a practice jersey, but it fit over my shoulder pads and everything. I was just a little kid. Standing on the sideline, freezing my ass off, watching the game. Best seats in the house. Too bad I wasn't able to wear a winter jacket. Oh, by the way, it's 12 degrees where I'm at right now. Oh, Gaylord. When I was on the radio at 90.5 FM, KSJS, San Jose, I used to tell stories about Gaylord. I'd always come back from a trip back home to Gaylord out of San Jose, California, with stories of fights or coming in contact with murderous people and, stories that would come up, and it's like, and I always say, that's the thing about Gaylord, because there's one time my sister, she was about to stop and see an old friend of hers on the way to work one day, and she said, run a little bit late. I better just go to work. And then she's like, my friend got murdered. And it was because she drove by the house but didn't stop. And so she would have been at the house when her friend's husband, estranged husband, something like that, showed up. Well, the boyfriend was there, and he went into the house and said, the estranged husband killed everybody in the house. My sister would have been killed that day. And I say, you see that? Gaylord, that's a place where, they only kill people they know. You come in from out of town, but then there are stories I heard also about parties I hadn't been at, truthfully. I hear stories about some guy from out of town, and drunk, and they're like, must have been hitting on one of the women. They kick him down into a pit, and the whole crowd jumps in and fucking beats him to living pulp. A living pulp. They didn't kill him. And so I say, well, you know what? That's the thing about Gaylord that makes it easier. You treat people well, and they won't screw with you. You only kill people you know. The people that have been screwing with you all this time. And so I on the radio, I was always trying to make it sound like a place where it's a great place to go. You can have a good time. Just be nice and don't get to know anybody too well, But as it turns out, oh my good golly. Here I'm reading these books. This one out of this place, Isidore's Secret. And it's the story of a nun that got murdered, evidently by the housekeeper. Nobody would have known it was the housekeeper if she hadn't gone into a confession in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and said, I killed her. And then they ran down the street and they got the bishop and said, what do we do about this? I'll be right back. What do we do about this? And he says, you know what? I don't know how many Hail Marys and how many Our Fathers she had to do. But evidently she did them because she felt innocent. And then it was another 10 years. This is in 2007, or 1907. This is over 100 years ago. And evidently, it was okay because she confessed. But, you know, there are gossips in every community. And when, after Father Andrew was gone, the guy that had the housekeeper, the nun, she was pregnant and buried under the church. She told in the confession where she buried the nun. I almost said the bitch. She was just a happy nun. Everybody said she was always so happy and singing. Of course, she was getting laid. Why wouldn't she be happy? They were going to make a movie about her with Dick Van Dyke starring as the lead priest. Father Andrew. Oh, I have a connection with Dick Van Dyke. I dream about him sometimes. I've always loved Dick Van Dyke. And they say it was like an Academy Award-winning, presentation that he put across. But then, like 10 years later, after Father Andrew was gone, Father Edward was there, and he's like, I'm going to build this church, this Polish Catholic community where everybody spoke Polish and nobody liked strangers. And you think, okay, it's over near Traverse City, Leelanau County. But this Father Edward, who changed his name after he got, he couldn't even hold Mass anymore. They moved him all over the fucking place. And then he did change his name and asked to come to Gaylord. Oh, this is the guy that dug up the body after he ran into another priest in Grand Rapids. And the priest's like, oh, you're going to build a new church on the same ground? You might want to dig up the bones of Sister Yanina before you do that, because they'll find them in the process. And he's like, what? And he's like, huh. And it's too bad. He'd already impregnated his 17-year-old housekeeper. And he talked about, this book, you got to read it. Marty Link, she's great. She's telling stories about northern Michigan. But it's not just northern Michigan. It's all connected to Gaylord. And so here's this guy digs up with Jacob Flees, the guy, the new church sexton, like old Tom, digs up the bones of this nun, and they found the little baby that was in her too. It was in her bosom. They found the bones of the baby, and they put it in another damn box, and they buried it in a cemetery under the cross. And so here, this guy's screwing the damn housekeeper too. That's why the housekeeper killed Sister Yanina, I'm sure, because Father Andrew was probably screwing the housekeeper at the same time, probably getting blowjobs. But she's like, why can't I have a baby with you? And so she killed her with a shovel. Bang! Bang! Right in the head. Knocked her out. Dug a hole. That's a good Polish farm lady. Can dig a hole in an afternoon while the priest is out fishing, coming in late, and has it all taken care of, and puts the pile of lumber over the damn grave under the church again. And so he's like, So Father Edward says, are you following me? He's like, ugh. And he admits to having dug up the body with Jacob Flees and buried it in the cemetery. They moved the bones of the nun that, I hate to tell the whole story, but poor Stella, the housekeeper for Father Andrew, she was in jail after they came and put her in jail and held her on trial. They were beating her with the rib bones of Sister Yanina, dressed up like devils and demons, and they tortured her and made her fucking crazy. She's like, I confessed. I already confessed. I didn't do anything. Ended up in Ann Arbor at the mental facility. But the reason I bring this up is because Father Edward, who got kicked out of saying masses, he was trying so hard to get back into it. 1982 archives from the Gaylord Diocese show that he got with them after changing his name. Said, can I come there? And so, you know, it's like Gaylord, this place I'm saying, it's a mythical place. Come here. Everything will be just fine. Now you've got priests that are either screwing the help, moving the bodies, or not admitting that there's anything wrong with it. Oh, I went to confession. Isn't that enough? I haven't gotten any of this stuff. It all seems so normal to me, except Victoria was reading it. She's like, these fucking people. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's just the way it goes. I've been institutionalized. I thought that's the way it went with the church. That's why there's a separation of church and state. Otherwise, everybody would be in jail. Church keeps you out of jail. And they got Stella out too. But so there's that. Gaylord's right there in the middle of all this. Gaylord was part of this thing. It's in it. And so, okay. So then we talk about that. And then she's also got me this book. She got me these books for Christmas. Time to Know About Your Hometown. Wicked Takes the Witness Stand. Same woman, Marty Link. This is about the Tobias murders. I remember seeing this on that show Inside Edition back then. It was such a farce. It was so screwed up. And so I'm reading this book, and it happened. This murder, Jerry Tobias, that they put people away that my mom used to babysit for. She was their babysitter. I'm starting to wonder whether it's my mom that's the problem. Look at the people you bring up. And they all think they're so okay. You know. But I'm reading this. This happened my senior year in high school. And it just seemed like a normal story to me. Oh yeah, somebody got murdered and found behind the fire station after being there for a couple days in December. Frigid weather. It's 12 degrees right now. Just laying back there with a boot hanging out, foot and a leg and a boot hanging over the edge of the back of his pickup. Nobody noticed it. Even the first cop that turned in the license plate, there's a car there. I should take the license plate, write it down. Didn't notice a boot and a leg hanging over the back of the pickup bed. And all these people, it's like going home again. Everybody in this book, they're people that I know. I was in high school. I might have been pulled over by McCann that very night that she just read the license plate and didn't look into a criminal scene. I guess she was looking for bigger bait. But, I just opened the page and it says, keep your mouth shut or you're dead. And then it says, you have been seen, we will find you. You're dead. Oh, these are just letters that are going between people. But, just amazing. So all the time I'm saying, come to Gaylord. As long as you're nice, you'll be okay. They only kill people they know. But this shit's going on. And then I talk to Olin, and he tells me, look up Man with a Van. Season 1, episode 5. And there's the Horn case. This 16-year-old from Traverse City that right around the same time got murdered. She went to Gaylord, see some friends, got picked up by that Zinky character. The people with the salvage yard in Gaylord. It's just, I'm thinking maybe it's a bad idea for you to go to Gaylord. It's amazing anybody ever lived through that place. How? Well, that's why the population is small, I suppose. Probably 30% of the people that are born in that town die. They say, you know, the old saying about any little town, like when that bar owner punched that guy in the head. This is what's happening in this book too. Wicked takes the witness stand. That bar owner punched that guy in the head. This is a story I hear, allegedly. And I heard it from reasonable, logical people that I believe, but got punched in the head, this drunken, obnoxious person. It could have been any one of us. Got punched in the head, fell down, hit his head off the side of the damn table in the bar, and the bouncers drag him out and leave him in the parking lot, and he dies. And they're like, and it's already happening here. In this book, his friend that witnessed this, a guy that he respects the same way I respect him, goes into the police and said, I saw the whole thing. They said, we've got all the information we need. Oh, I might be getting myself in trouble if I go back to Gaylord. What the hell? That's all for news, right? You know? And they said, we've got all the information we need. They did the same thing here. And here, my baseball coach, one of the people that went to prison for this, the brother of another guy, I haven't gotten far enough in the book to see how it all goes because it all just seems so normal. I never even got the facts, but it's happening now in the book. This guy was my baseball coach. My mother babysat him. It's like, he was a nice guy. Had a lot of good advice. What to do when you're playing baseball. No, I did. He was my baseball coach. I was a little kid. But, so these people are all going to jail and all this, and then this thing where people come visit Gaylord, they end up out by Huffman Lake, found in the woods. And I know one of the women that disappeared. It's like, where'd she go? Oh, it might be my responsibility now to tell you, it's not a mythological place in a good way. Nobody ever wins. Stay out of Gaylord.